been over 10 years since Kenya had the last IPO. IPO stands for Initial Public Offer or Offering, as I've been informed. And I'm super excited because today, the day to date is, we're in January, the month January, the year is 2026. And in Kenya right now, there's currently an initial public offering that is happening. Class in Session is where we take a topic and we break it, we unpack it, we explain it in layman so that you watching, who doesn't understand all this financial jargon or the jargon within the conversation that we're having, can follow all the way from the beginning. We're going to unpack it slowly until where we are today. I'm excited because our guest today, you've seen her on this platform before, you've seen her many times, but you have never truly seen her in the capacity that she's coming today. I'm super excited for the conversation that we're having. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Cleaning the Airwaves. My name is Richard Njau, and this is a CTA masterclass on IPOs. And with me, I have none other than Rina Hicks. Rina, let me first say thank you so much because you are very generous to CTA with your time. I do understand how busy you are. I do understand all the different hats that you wear. So for you to come today, I really truly feel that you're the right person to come here and have this conversation. People know you from different hats that you've been on CTA. But I don't think I've ever seen you sit on a seat with this capacity or this hat that you wear. So I want you to introduce yourself and explain why, so that I can explain to people why it is that you are the right person to be having this conversation.
Okay. Thank you, Richie, for having me and for this amazing platform that you have. It's quite an honor to be here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Reena Hicks. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Faida Investment Bank and founder of MoneyWise. And I guess the reason I'm sitting here is because Faida Investment Bank is the lead transaction advisor for the Kenya Pipeline Company IPO. And we are leading the process of privatizing Kenya Pipeline. And Richie has very many questions around Kenya Pipeline, around IPO and what the IPO is. And so we'll be looking at that. And I'm here to break down as simply as possible so everybody, including my 15-year-old, can understand what that is. Yes.
Okay, I need to put this disclaimer. This is an education series. I am doing this so that people can have an understanding of what an IPO is and everything that surrounds the IPO. Again, I want to say this. I am not asking you to buy. I am not asking you to not buy. I am doing this so that you can, if you choose not to buy, you can be informed. If you choose to buy, you can be informed. Class in Session is exactly that. It is a classroom, a digital classroom where you get to learn. Now, you've not done justice introducing yourself.
I haven't. I have.
You are so pivotal in this. So I want to start again. Rina Hicks works for Faida Investment Bank.
Yes.
And you work for different people. I've seen you in the capacity of Oak Special Fund.
Yeah.
You are not here on that.
No.
You are not here on that.
No.
Which department do you head that this falls under?
Okay. So at Faida, I also manage and head the corporate finance department.
Corporate finance department.
Yes. And corporate finance advisory is what we do. And advisory is basically helping companies that are looking to raise capital, restructure their balance sheet. They're looking to sell their shares and they're wondering, you know, we've gotten a buyer, but we're not too sure the value they're giving us is fair. Can you give us a fairness opinion? We do due diligences, financial due diligence, to just sort of see if you're looking to buy a target company, what are some of the things we need to be aware of in terms of liabilities or anything else, some things that are in the closet that need to come out so that you can make a decision on the value or the price that you should then pay for that company. It's called corporate finance advisory. It's usually to institutions that are looking to do different things, maybe raise capital for expansion, to build factories and so on. And so we come in as the go-between to carry out those activities, whether it's valuation, pricing, advisory services around that. Also creating products, because if a company wants to raise capital, we can create commercial paper, we can create bonds, we can create issue shares. So that's what corporate finance does.
Okay. Again, I'm going to take it slow. Already I felt the mind doing this thing for some people. So, examples of under this corporate finance, what are some of the examples of things that you have done before even we get to this?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've done very many. So let me give you a few examples. There was a merger of two banks that happened in 2019, and that was CBA and NIC Group. And they became NCBA Capital. So we were the transaction advisor around the financial advisory, doing the valuation to tell shareholders whether or not the agreed ratio that they were going to merge the companies in, and therefore then value, exchange between the two companies was fair or not. So that was the last transaction that we did. We've done all kinds of transactions, including in Ethiopia, being a consultant, helping companies or banks that want to get licensed as investment banks and guiding them through the process, the regulatory requirements, and helping them in the process of being licensed as an investment bank. We were also involved in Safaricom IPO that happened in 2008 as lead sponsoring brokers jointly with Diane Blair. We were also involved in Kenyan, which was in 2006, the IPO. We were involved as lead sponsoring brokers jointly with other brokers for Cooperative Bank IPO. We've done several capital raises, even outside of the stock market. We've advised companies like Acorn, the guys that do Kwetu. We have several clients that we do this advisory work for, either as placement agents or lead transaction advisors.
Okay, I've understood that element of corporate finance that sits under Faida Investment Bank.
Yes.
Even before now we go again to lead transaction advisor, I'm just sort of trying to paint a picture of why it is that you're so positioned. Explain to me Faida's role when it comes to the stock exchange, because this initial public offering and the Nairobi Stock Exchange are these
So let me
affiliation.
first perhaps explain the structure of what is Faida and what's an investment bank. So an investment bank is different from a commercial bank.
Okay.
A commercial bank receives deposits, takes deposits, and they also issue loans. So that's not what we do. What we do is investment banking, where we provide opportunities for people to invest their money. We have three different divisions. We have stockbroking, and stockbroking is where we help people buy and sell securities, whether those securities are shares or bonds or derivatives. So we trade on their behalf. When they give us instructions, we carry out research to guide on what our thinking is with regard to the different companies that are listed on the stock exchange. That's the stockbroking division. Then we have the corporate finance division, and the corporate finance division is the advisory that I told you about, where we advise companies around capital raising, balance sheet restructuring, fairness opinions, valuations, that's that type of stuff. And then finally, we have a collective investment scheme or global markets division, because it's a collective investment scheme division that then pools funds, it's fund management, pools funds from different investors and invests the money on their behalf. And we have traders and a whole, chunk of people that run that. So those are the three divisions. Now, our connection to the Nairobi Securities Exchange is through the brokerage. We have to be licensed as a member of the stock exchange and licensed by the Capital Markets Authority to be a stockbroker. So anybody looking to be a stockbroker to help people buy and sell shares on a stock exchange have to be licensed by the Capital Markets Authority and be a member of the stock exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautifully explained. We're going to have many questions.
Okay.
Another question, I'm still painting an introduction of who is seated here so that you can understand. Again, we're working people, and I want anybody and everybody to be able to take this journey with us, not just those who have an understanding about money and finance. How long have you been in this space of finance?
22 years.
22 years.
Yes.
So you didn't just start to go with YouTube when it came?
Before YouTube existed, we were here. Yeah.
Okay. And in what capacity have you been doing this? Have you been in, or is it just in the corporate finance, or have you dabbled in all this?
So I've worked in every single department at Faida. I've been at the reception, I've been in the back office, I think the only thing I've not done is finance, actually. I've not written checks or done any accounting, anything. But yeah, I've been in the back office. I've been a research analyst. I've been a trader on the stock exchange floor, wearing a red jacket. Yes, I have. Corporate finance. Yeah, like virtually everything.
So you have a good understanding of...
I do.
Okay. Beautiful. I've understood who is seated here, and the audience also understands the capacity with which you're seated here. Now, you don't operate in isolation. You operate under this company called Faida Investment Bank. So, what is Faida Investments Bank role in the KPC IPO?
Okay, so the Kenya Pipeline Company IPO has 3 players. Let me start with it right at the top. We have the National Treasury and Economic Planning. Then we have the Privatization Authority, and we have KPC itself. Now, Parliament, through Sessional Paper number 2 of 2025, basically said that we can now privatize and give authority for the privatization of Kenya Pipeline. And the mandate was then given to the Privatization Authority to then go ahead and look for advisors and go through the process of privatization and listing of Kenya Pipeline. Now, Faida is one of the advisors that were appointed by the Privatization Authority. They're the appointing authority to then see this IPO happen. Faida Investment Bank, our role is lead transaction advisor. That means we lead all the other advisors in the process of privatizing and making sure that we do everything that appertains to this transaction as per the Capital Markets Authority regulations. So our process began with building up or requesting the client to build up a data room, meaning we need all this data and all this information for us to be able to carry on this exercise. And we carried out due diligence. So we had a valuer, a company that then valued all the assets of Kenya Pipeline, land, pipelines, buildings, all the assets that they have. Then we also had a due diligence that was done. We had a tax due diligence expert, an organization that then worked under Faida to ensure that tax due diligence is done. Financial due diligence, operational due diligence. I know this word might not be common knowledge, but due diligence is basically checking. You're selling me your car? Let me get a mechanic to check that every single part of this car is functioning as it should. And if there's an issue, either I ask you for a lower price or I move on and buy another car. Does that make sense? So it's just opening the hood and checking that things are working as they should, and where there's an issue, we point out that issue. The process involved legal due diligence and looking at what liabilities do these guys have and what's the probability that these liabilities will come to fruition, meaning they will have to pay some kind of money, whether it's a lawsuit or a court order or anything around the legal matters. Now, when all of that was completed, we then had the reporting accountant, which was PwC, check everything.
PwC, that's a credible people.
PwC.
Auditing firm.
Yes, the auditing firm is the reporting accountant. And PwC took their time to ensure that they've checked every single thing. They went back 5 years, looked at the accounts, asked questions, checked where was this and how did this come about.
And they do this independent of you?
Completely independent of us. Completely independent of us and completely independent of those 3 institutions I mentioned. Because they have to be completely independent to make sure that they disclose everything that may be an issue on the numbers that are displayed by this company. So they then have prepared a report, which is in the information memorandum, available for all to see.
And the link to download the information memorandum is currently on the screen. You can go to that website, but then also on the comment sections, depending on where you're watching this, the link is on the screen.
So the memorandum is available for download and for reading. We also have an abridged IM, a short form version of that long one for people who are just like, I can't read 100 and, in fact, they're like 300 pages, but because of both sides, it's like 147 pages. So it's a lot of content, but it's important content because it gives disclosures on what all of us have found and what the IPO is all about. So that's PwC. They wrote a document that is called a reporting accountant's report. That is a requirement for every initial public offer. And they provide their view on the accounts, as well as provide projections for what they see for the next 1 year in terms of performance of the company that they have verified. They've also gone through Q1, quarter one performance for the company, because according to the Capital Markets Authority regulations, you cannot have accounts that are older than 4 months that have not been reviewed by an independent reporting accountant. So the legal due diligence was done by OK jointly with GNA advocates. So those are also not Faida. There are other advisors on the group. Then we have the receiving banks who are receiving the money. That's KCB, Cooperative Bank, and Stanbic. And we have the lead sponsoring brokers, Dan Blair and Francis Drummond, jointly, and co-sponsoring brokers as well. So those are all the advisors. And we are taking the lead of all the advisors and making sure things are done in an ideal fashion.
Wow. I love it. I love the overview that you have explained. I get to understand. My whole first part of this video was to make the audience understand who is seated here, to make them understand that you're seated here in the capacity of somebody who has been involved in everything that is happening to do with this initial public offering. But I want to wheel it and take it back, because there are people who don't understand. I've never heard that word IPO. And those people I don't want to leave behind. So when we come back, we're going to take it from the very beginning and ask the answer. And you're going to be answering the question, what is an IPO? We'll be back in a few. Share this one. This is information that you want every single Kenyan to know, even if it's just for educational purposes. All ages, not just those ones who are above 18. We'll be back in a few.